Did any of you watch Survivor Series? Neither did I. Do any of you care about the war on brand supremacy? Neither do I. Does anybody really care about wrestling anymore? Well, you wouldn't have clicked this episode of WrestleBound now, would ya? To be fair, we are going back to a simpler time, the year of 2009. It was my second or third year watching WWE, and I was just discovering that Raw was a thing after being a SmackDown kid for a good while. That's when I lost my virginity, and I really want it back. I also saw new stars like Jeff Hardy, Triple H, and Drew McIntyre for the first time on TV. Hell, I went a good few years without knowing what a John Cena was. But you know what else came with the new year? A new game. This actually came out in 2008, an even better year. On those days, I saw vaguely. It was still real to me, damn it.
I never understood why they dated their games the upcoming year as opposed to the one they were in. Sure, they were usually released during the end of the year, but everything references the last year's events. Talk about dating yourself. SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 was the fifth entry in the yearly series developed by Yuke's and published by THQ, this recounting and immortalizing the stars and moments of last year, while reminding us of a year not many look back on too fondly for whatever reason. The game was released on the Wii and PS3, as well as the PS2, PSP, Nintendo DS, and Xbox 360 in North America, Europe, and Australasia during the early days of November 2008, while Japan would get it next year on January 22nd. 4 to 6 players can play at one time, and the ESRB rated it a T, 14. I went all out for you poverty-ridden bastards. Since I never had the PS3 version, I decided to buy the collector's edition. They even did them back then, as it seems they do it all too often today. That's how money-hungry they are. The back of the box is pretty much the same as the standard box, emphasizing the tag team theme they were going for this year, and we'll talk about that later. The difference between them, though, is this shows you the contents you can get inside, and I'm going to do the same right now. And to be honest, it should have stayed in the box. I don't think this is something I would proudly display on a shelf by itself. It looks more like one of those tin containers that you would put your pencils in. But inside this circular cage is 2 discs. One is the game, and the other is a making of Blu-ray that we'll look at in a later segment. But right now I just gotta admire this box art of Triple H and Shawn Michaels visually impaired, looking as strong as ever.
This is a game WWE told reviewers and the press to not show Hunter looking weak under any circumstances. Well, that's only asking for the opposite, as you'll see throughout this video.
I wonder if I'll ever get tired of seeing the THQ and Yuke's logo as I continue doing this show.
It'll be more common as we go along, which could get annoying, but when I see 2K instead, I might shed a tear.
2009. I was 10 and I believed in kayfabe. This roster sure doesn't remind me of the times, but then again, I didn't watch all their programming yet. While I recognize most of them, a few I'm surprised were included or still a part of it. I mean, guys like
Batista! Montel Vitini's corner, MVP! Ashley! Mr. Kennedy!
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you. The world's largest love machine, Viscera.
Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican? What happened to your accent?
And that guy who just got released. Oof, too soon.
But I'm picking Jimmy Wang Yang because he's got a party bus that I wouldn't mind renting, and he'll go against Triple H to stick it to the man. And we'll put the title on the line too because the option is there, so fuck it.
This would be Brian's wet dream for sure, but unlike me, he's the weakest link out of all of us. He's not growing this channel, that's for sure.
Entrances look pretty good, especially Triple H's. That's usually the big test of any WWE game, is getting his entrance down exactly, which they did well for the time anyway. But what's with the belt being crooked? Guess they could never get it to stop spinning.
I forgot to mention that we'll also look at the Wii port every now and then when there's something to mention, and there is now for when you do entrances. They made the baffling choice for you to interact with the crowd by performing a few actions that may or may not relate to the character.
Never before, never again.
I don't think the controls have been this simplified yet. You move with the right stick and have X to strike, circle does Irish whips, triangle does signature moves and finishers when you build up your meters, and square is reserved for diving attacks. The left stick does quick grapple moves, but you can do stronger ones if you hold R1 and lock up. L2 and R2 do specific reversals, L1 does running, and the D-pad does taunts.
No button goes unused. The same can't be said about the Wii, but they did the best with what they had.
Because the Wii's gonna Wii, you'll have to swing the remote to do strikes. A does quick grappling while B does interactive grapples. Sure. C does the taunts and Z is how to pin. Only buttons that aren't used are the 1 and 2 buttons. Underachievers, I say. Though it may sound like a lot, it's actually very easy to learn and get used to real quick on both consoles. Like I was able to hit differently unique moves without issue and build up my finisher fast. The PS3 has 1 meter that acts as both your health and special moves bar, while the Wii has 2, one for your health and the other for special moves. When you have it built up, you can hit your moves so long as you're in proper position, and when you weaken him enough to where his body parts are red and dead, you'll be able to put his shoulders down to the mat to get the win, the title, or if you're on the Wii, do a little dance.
I remember Jimmy from back then, and I'm surprised he didn't win the IC title at least. I thought he was entertaining enough. Would his gimmick fly, though? He has embraced it, so it should be safe from cancel culture. Right, comment section?
Now that we have the basics out of the way, and a new champ to reign, we've got a ton of matches to sink our teeth in. One of the match types this game highlights is the tag team match, which was apparently improved in some ways. I'll go with the Hardy Boys to take the tag titles off Miz and Morrison.
Taking a small break from beating up Triple H, but we'll come back to it, so just bear with me here.
So the first time I tried it out, I didn't get to see the changes and it seemed pretty basic, but I think that was because I could control both brothers as opposed to one of them being a computer. I still picked up the win and now we'll defend our titles against DX. As far as I could tell, the changes that were made revolve around how you can interact with your partner. Like I can hold my opponent for my partner to strike him, I can stun him myself, or pull the rope down to force him out of the ring. I couldn't figure out how to do the hot tag, which is what this fire border alludes to, but it was much easier to do on the Wii version. Wondering who these jobbers are? All in good time. One of my favorite parts is hitting a tag team finisher. Too bad the Dudleys aren't around, but the Hardys still got what it takes to put DX away.
A Hardy's reunion was better than any DX reunion. Change my mind.
Another match this game focuses on is the Inferno match, as that was new at the time. Though there hadn't been a real one since 2006 at this point, Ukes did right to include it, as it's not a bad shout at all. What you have to do is beat your opponent up to a point as you get the fire up to 500 degrees, and when he's weak enough, you can easily fling your opponent over the top rope and set him on fire.
That's probably how their 2002 feud should have ended. No more of the Reign of Terror or Katie Vick BS.
And we haven't even scratched the surface, for there are so many match types on offer, it's like literally impossible to cover them all, which is why I'm glad I made the decision to cut this segment short going forward in hindsight. But I assure you, you won't be bored with the selection you have. For example, you can have a triple threat Hell in a Cell, where there's glitches afoot, a 4-way steel cage, or a Money in the Bank. where the AI is even dumber.
If you get bored somehow, you either don't have any friends or aren't even trying, which is the case for all Gen Zs, am I right?
The Wii is missing a few matches compared to the PS3, but I'm not going to dock it any. It's a major improvement if you compare it to last year's when it only had 5 on the Wii. 5. Anyway, there's so much to do and to discover, you'll have a good time with whatever match type you pick or wrestlers you put yourself against. Most of the matches I made had Triple H in there somewhere. I tried to make sure he'd lose, but that didn't always go to plan.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about control and if you can take it. All about the battle royal and if you can win it. All about the women and how they eliminate you. A lyricist I am not, but give us more women pay-per-views, you cowards.
If you do get tired of all the matches on offer, there's still a few more things you're bound to enjoy.
I think after 9 episodes, I gotta sneak that in somewhere.
My WWE is just a fancy new way to say options. You can edit the roster selection or customize tag teams. One feature I didn't know about was the highlight reel. During a match, if you want to save a moment you thought was cool, you can save the clip and edit it later, which is what this is for. I did play with it briefly during the Inferno match, but that's the extent of it.
If the Wii had that, I'd probably go nuts, but of course it didn't, cause it's the Wii.
Regular options are here too. Some you can toggle with in-game, while others you can only do here. You can also enter cheat codes to unlock a few things as opposed to getting them through playing, and watch a few things like the credits, a preview for Legends of WrestleMania, go back and watch it if you haven't already, and the WrestleMania 24 box set, which transitioned to the main event with Edge and The Undertaker. And while that's awesome being one of my favorite matches, I can't show it here, otherwise Hunter will come at me with a sledgehammer and take this video down. One new mode is the Road to WrestleMania, where you can choose from one of several superstars and follow their storyline that'll eventually lead them to the show of shows. I don't have time to go in depth with them, but I'll give you a summary for those interested. Triple H has to choose between reforming DX or Evolution. CM Punk tries to be the face of WWE CW. Undertaker has a weird feud with mid-card foreigners and involves zombies and the Streak. John Cena defends America against MVP and his nation of Better Than Utopia. Chris Jericho investigates who's behind the Masked Man. And the team of Batista and Rey Mysterio see if they can coexist as they go for the World Heavyweight title.
I used to play them all the time on the Wii. I beat them multiple times as you can get most of the unlockables this way. And I like to think these are the best rejected storylines of last year, and God, it shows. You can't make the Cena one up.
What else do we got? Online was an option. It was even on the Wii. Shocker. Obviously you can't connect anymore, at least on the Wii, as that was shut down a long time ago. It's only a matter of time before the PS3 follows suit. Better use it fast before all the DLC goes away. Surprised there's DLC? So was I. There are additional game modes like tournaments that I don't really care about, and the career mode, which is another bracket-based style of game where you go for all the gold.
I did give it a whirl on the Wii back in the day. I chose Ric Flair for whatever reason and got all the gold and was styling and profiling. In an appropriate way, of course.
Lastly, we've got the create modes, and it's the same as last episode, as it should, as those games were only a few months apart, but there's still a lot of customization for you to do to your superstar, his moves, and entrances, if you're so inclined. Can I just say one of my favorite themes was from Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder when they were the Edgeheads. It was intense and metal, quite literally. You can even make your own finishers by combining a sequence of moves to make it look seamless and effective. You'll see what I came up with in a moment, for we'll have one more match against Triple H to show you what I got.
Here I am, on the grandest stage of them all, in the middle of it, about to play the game one more time. Cody? The authority got to him. Well, if I have to go through him to prove my worth, then I have no choice. I got to give the people what they want. Death. This is a ladder match. Gotta go for the ladders. Whoa, beat him senseless, and out of the ring he goes. Perfect timing for me. Grab that title, come on, come on. The big gold belt's coming home with me. Uh-oh, Cody's getting back up. I can take care of him with a superplex. Oh my god! If he gets up from that, he's inhuman. Ah, well, those are padded anyway. Might as well put him away with my own move that I'd like to call the GFU. That's get fucked up. And was there any doubt? Was there any doubt at all? If we did this in real life, same result. I'm done.
One more thing before we end this, we gotta show off that bonus disc, or we can't because it has some copyrighted matches from the past year. But I do appreciate that, as it's something I would want in a collector's edition, not a damn Funko Pop. And when I tried to watch the making of portion, it just went ahead and said, nah.
We can only imagine that the youth folks were just so damn happy to make another game and never think of leaving WWE behind because their next publisher after THQ were douchebags.
SVR09, depending on the port, was received either positively or middling at best. The handheld ports got the worst of it. Not even Nintendo Power gave a shit about their DS version. Nevertheless, the SmackDown vs. Raw series would go on, get changed to simply WWE, then THQ went bankrupt, 2K took over, making every entry arguably worse as the years went by. You should know the story by now, but if you don't, I'll cover it all one day.
When I first started watching wrestling back in 2007, I thought it was the best thing ever. The characters, the action, all of it I enjoyed, and it was good to some degree. My love for it only intensified when I got to play the games, and replaying SVR 2009 has brought me back to the better days.
While it may not be a great product on TV today with their shows or the video games by a clear mile, we still have the past, which is what they thrive on these days, and for good reason, because most of it was good, just like this SmackDown vs. Raw entry. 2009 has so much going for it. On PS3 it has some new matches, modes, and a whole lot of ways to play them. It's one entry that can keep you busy for God knows how long. On the Wii, it has most of the same and is a staggering upgrade from the dog shit you got last year on the console. A plethora of more matches and modes that put SVR 08 on Wii to shame. Both games have plenty to offer on the lower and higher end systems, and I'd recommend going for them if the other years aren't available. I wish they still had the brand warfare as the title of the game series, as that's where the battle for brand supremacy should have stayed.
In my eyes, these games are pretty much the same when it comes to quantity and quality to some extent, so they're pretty much even, so I'm going to give them both 3.5 stars. Hey Alex, what's going on? Oh, nothing. Why are you being friendly? Well, I thought I'd loosen tensions and your temper by getting you an early Christmas present. You can thank me later. Is it pre-opened? Yeah, it is. Typical of my brother. Oh my god! Finally! I've been looking for this port for so long! Now it's time to go get the others. Let's see, we have the SNES, the Saturn, the PS1... God, what a loser. I can't believe he fell for that. Too many chair shots to the head and he forgets he ordered it himself. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.